All right, so a lot of people I know were very happy when they saw this news. A lot of Bernie supporters, everyone across the board was like, "Yay, Mayor Pete is out of the game." But when I saw it, I knew exactly what was happening, and it's not good for Bernie. I know we hate Pete, we want him to not be in the race. We can't stand the corporatist, manipulative aspects of Pete. But the true reason he's dropping out is to join the Stop Bernie movement. And at 8:30 he will be going, well, not going live, but speaking to tell us that he is going to drop out, and I'm guessing he will endorse Joe Biden, and he's going to say, "I'm going to drop out because I'm not going to be the reason that our country is subjected to socialism or whatever." He's going to say that Bernie would lose to Donald Trump, and he's not going to be the reason Bernie Sanders gets a big delegate lead. So I know people are happy about this, but just understand it's not good for us. It's simply not good. The math breaks down weird when you talk about where the vote's going to go. Most polls have 25% of his support going to Elizabeth Warren. I think that's going to be a guarantee. His support base is the Warren Klobuchar support base, the more educated, white, liberal type. And 15 to 20% will go to Biden, Bloomberg, and I think the person who's hurt the most is Bernie, just based off the polls I've seen and what we know from, conventional wisdom. So I'm not very happy that he drops out now. And his announcement is kind of. This is a big
Hey there,
announcement.
everyone. I'm Errol Barnett. We are getting breaking news into our newsroom right now. Here's the latest information.
So, a little bit of news for you about our flight. We're making a change in our travel plans and traveling to South Bend rather than to Texas. We're going to be making an announcement there about the future of the campaign, and looking forward to sharing with our supporters and with the country where we're going from here. So that is why you will find that we are headed in a different direction than we were originally planned on.
So it's pretty clear, and the news came out that Elizabeth Warren will definitely stay in for Super Tuesday and the whole time to get votes away from Bernie. It's clear that she's going to be there to try to steal Massachusetts from Bernie, but Bernie still might win Elizabeth Warren's home state. Klobuchar, we know the Biden campaign asked the Klobuchar. They want her to stay in so that Bernie does not win Minnesota. So we have every single candidate in the race joining forces against Bernie, except Bloomberg, who's on an island. It's kind of confusing where he is in this entire thing. I feel like there's kickback from the establishment towards Bloomberg to an extent when you have basically Biden, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Warren working together to try to stop Bernie Sanders. And all of them have also been against Mayor Bloomberg. Buttigieg said Mayor Bloomberg bought the election. Warren obviously attacked Bloomberg very hard. Joe Biden attacked Bloomberg very hard for not liking Obama enough. Klobuchar kind of is just whatever. She's just there to get the Midwestern energy away from Bernie. It is gonna matter. Super Tuesday is not gonna go as good as we think it's gonna go. I don't want to be pessimist about it, but it's simply once the delegate math is decided, you know, if it was a normal election, if it was a normal time when people win with a plurality, then it would be good. Bernie's going to come out on top of the delegate lead, but the question is how much. And we know the Warren super PAC, and that's great to say. Warren has the second biggest super PAC behind Donald Trump. Her super PAC is dumping around $12 million into Super Tuesday states, and the only two states are Texas and California, which we know are states where Bernie has to do exceptionally well in. And the big issue with that is people are not seeing the terrible messaging Warren's campaign is sending right now. Thank you, Pete. Oh, boy. Yeah, they're not seeing Elizabeth Warren's big change right now. People are normally apolitical, so they might still go out and vote for Warren, although she said she has no path to the nomination and she's just trying to prevent a Bernie Sanders from getting enough. Andrew Yang's takes. I don't care about predictions. Sorry, but the predictions in South Carolina said Bernie was closing in 8 points. to Biden. There was a poll with Bernie tied to Biden. I don't trust any of these. But Andrew Yang's takes on everything so far since he became a CNN contributor has hurt me. And the way he sent Buttigieg off, he says Pete Buttigieg ran an awesome campaign that catapulted him from an unknown mayor to a top-tier contender. It was only possible because Pete is a world-class talent who represents the future of our country. He is only getting started. Represents the future of the country. Andrew Yang is making some type of announcement after Super Tuesday about his political future, and I'm kind of scared to see where he's going because I don't know if he's going to be swallowed by the machine. Is he actually an outsider candidate, or is he going to be one of those people who blends in and conforms? If you look at his policies, Andrew Yang, it's not a danger to any established power. The UBI can be a tool to keep us, it's not a social program. It's not ran by people. It's not a social safety net. The UBI can be used by elites as another method to control people. So I wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Yang just decided to blend in with the crew, because I can see Obama being for a UBI. Giving people $12,000 a month doesn't give them health care. It doesn't guarantee them a standard of living. But that's just on Andrew Yang right now. I want to see what he's going to do. But Mayor Pete is speaking at 8:30. At 8:30 as well, Mayor Bloomberg spent $1.5 million on TV time. So Bloomberg is going to give a 3-minute speech on CBS and NBC at 8:30 talking about the coronavirus, saying that he is the best equipped to handle the threat of the coronavirus. So that's what Mayor Bloomberg is going to go on and do at 8:30. And Pete is giving an announcement at the same time where I think Pete is going to say, all right, guys, Bernie can't be president. He can't be our nominee, so I have to stop that. I'm not going to be the reason Bernie gets too far ahead of us, so I'm dropping out and endorsing Joe Biden. That's my prediction, is that he will endorse Joe Biden. There's no way he endorses Bloomberg, I don't think. And I don't know if Biden wants him to be VP, if Biden wants him to be somewhere else in the administration. I'm sure he'll take anything, being a former mayor from a state where he can't win a statewide election. He always says like he's the poorest person in the race, so he can't be elitist. But that makes Pete more susceptible to being manipulated. So any deal behind the scenes that Joe Biden's campaign could have brought up to Pete would be really easy to sway him. Yeah, Warren only attacks Bernie too. So is Warren going for VP too? They're all getting some type of deal. And of course, yes, the establishment is consolidating. I'm not sure what to expect after tonight when it comes to where Buttigieg's support is going to go. Yeah, Warren took a complete nosedive off a cliff. The statement they put out today. That's so stupid. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay, fair enough, Bernie stands, but he's right. Defeating Trump and Trumpism is the goal, not an old man's vanity socialism project that would never get through Congress, would destroy down ballot Dems, and would put the U.S. court system almost entirely in Republican hands. Politicizing the virus will backfire on Bloomberg. Pete will take anything because he's an egotist. I don't know what politicizing the virus will do for anybody. The big Trump campaign memo right now is to say that the Democrats are using the coronavirus as a political tool to try to knock him out. So, I mean, maybe it'll prove Trump right yet again. Pete dropped out. Yeah, this is such a great win for the gay community. It's time to get behind the actual front runner, but they're trying to stop Mr. Bernie. Yeah, Bernie Sanders raised $46 million today, and that's a good amount of money. And having Tom Steyer drops out actually helps that money be worth even more. Because, when you have two billionaires buying out ads, every single ad is more expensive, so every candidate at the bottom's dollar is worth a lot less. But with Steyer dropping out, it'll be a lot easier for Bernie to get ads he needs to get, although Bloomberg is driving the prices up no matter what. I haven't seen the media coverage of the big gain in fundraising yet. I'm sure they spun it some type of weird way. See, this money is too much. Bernie is stealing from his supporters. What? She's still in it for Minnesota. Oh my goodness. The biggest like disappointment to me is all the progressives, or they say they're progressives, that I talk to about like Warren, and I show the fact that her campaign is admitting now that there is no clear path or any path at all for her to get anywhere close to the nomination. So voting for her is pushing for a contested convention, which isn't for progressive values. It goes against party unity. It makes it easier to lose against Trump, which are the three things Warren was supposed to be fighting for. But I show them the facts of the campaign, which I have been saying for months, that this is the Warren campaign's goal. But now we have actual proof, and people still won't believe me. It's amazing how people are, 8 minutes until Mr. Pete speaks. I can't wait to see what he says. Oh my goodness. I mean, I know a lot of people who like Pete. They're all going to Biden or Bloomberg. I haven't seen anybody go from Pete to Bernie. They also go to Warren. I can't see Pete supporters wanting to go to Bernie. Actually, Pete and Bernie have less crossover voters than Bloomberg and Bernie do. Only like 10 to 15% of Pete's support will go to Bernie, I would think, based on polling. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren doesn't care about the movement. Yep, they're only in it to kneecap Bernie. Super Tuesday's got to be a blowout. And in California and Texas, we need to hope that only two candidates are viable. So Warren is going to be viable in California, unless if there is a complete falling out. But at this point, with Pete Buttigieg dropping out, it heightens the likelihood that more than two candidates will be viable in California, which will hurt Bernie's overall delegate haul, because instead of being split 2 ways, it'll be split 3 ways, and that's not good. So him dropping out, Pete Buttigieg dropping out here, might be the difference between Bernie getting 100 more delegates than he would have gotten in California and 50 more delegates than he would have gotten in Texas. So Buttigieg coming in might have been a net loss to Bernie of around 150 delegates, with Buttigieg leaving. Now, Stacey, for Bernie, you have to look at different polls. About 4 different polls came out showing where different voters are going. One poll I saw said their second choice is Bernie, but 4 polls I saw said that only 10% were going to Bernie. And the 4 polls I saw were more highly graded pollsters. I could try to find a couple on Twitter right now. I don't have any open right now. Just waiting for Pete Buttigieg to speak at 8:30. The campaign announcement, March 1st. Yeah, so it is true. His support's not going to Bernie. It just isn't. And it's just, a candidate dropping out makes it more likely for the other ones to be viable. That 15% mark. Good pitcher, Mike Gravel and Bernie Sanders. But yeah, 5 more minutes until Pete Buttigieg tells us he's endorsing Joe Biden. And it is Bernie versus Biden again, which is interesting because we went through a period over the past couple of weeks where it was Bernie versus Bloomberg. And in a way, Bloomberg coming into the race made Biden look so much more appealing after seeing the other option of the establishment. So he could either choose for the moderates, Bloomberg or Biden. Bloomberg came in, it made Pete look better. It made Warren look better. It made everyone look better. And, I mean, you could give Mike Bloomberg the credit for Joe Biden's surge right now. They saw how weak Bloomberg was, especially against Bernie, which is all they care about. Yeah, I agree with Kyle Kulinski. Pete cut a deal behind the scenes. It's pretty hard to tell whether or not him dropping will help hurt or have no impact on Bernie. Here are some of the polls. One poll with Bernie being the second choice for 11% of Buttigieg supporters. Another poll showing Bernie being the second choice Another poll showing Bernie being tied with Biden for the second choices. So pick your poll. The margin of error on all of these will be around 4 plus or minus. So worst scenario, 5% is going to Bernie. Best scenario, 31% is going to Bernie. Yay, polls. Very accurate statistics. And Kyle also thinks if Pete endorses Biden, there's no guarantee his voters will actually listen. It's also possible he endorses Bloomberg. No, I don't think that'll ever happen. Bloomberg, he's been attacking Bloomberg. And he's doing his announcement tonight at the same time as Bloomberg's big event on television. Elizabeth Warren, I know there was the hashtag saying primary Warren. And I think that'll actually happen. This is a good thing to see. Not only is socialism losing its negative connotation, but it's actually gaining a positive viewpoint among Democratic voters, which is a big deal. And I think we could all be happy about that. I mean, before they were talking like socialism, is going to make us all die, but apparently socialism's more popular than capitalism, and I think we're going to see that trend continue until there's a big reset of our system. I want to see Warren get primaried really badly. There was that tape of her a couple years ago showing how much she was for Bernie. 3 more minutes until Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, there's a good reason why Pete was only attacking Bernie. Pete was talking over Bernie the entire time. Pete was only aimed at Bernie. They're thinking Pete can be an attack dog. You are completely right. And yeah, Pete's supporters are less likely to align with Bernie, especially after Pete was attacking Bernie. And Bernie's favorables are high, but among the people where it's not high for, they're going to Buttigieg. And yeah, this is a big underlying thing that makes me not think he's going to endorse Bloomberg, because if he was going to endorse Bloomberg, he wouldn't undercut Bloomberg's 3-minute buy. So Bloomberg is going to go on and talk about how he is the best to deal with coronavirus, and Pete will be giving his announcement at that exact time at 8:30 as well. It's not up yet. We'll be in 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm predicting people will support Biden. If it's anyone but Biden, I'll be surprised. And I can't see it. I mean, wild card, Elizabeth Warren. Because I think, personally, Elizabeth Warren is the way you beat Bernie. That's what I've been saying. If you want to beat Bernie, you have to support Elizabeth. You can't support Biden because he's bad. You can't attack Bernie because people like Bernie, but you can pick somebody who is overall favorable across the board. People like her. And people, a lot of people, if she was more, viable, would be voting for her. They don't like how angry Bernie is, because a lot of the people who support her are more educated, more affluent whites. So anger and a revolutionary attitude isn't familiar to people who don't, feel the need for a revolution or a big change in any way. Yeah, early voting already. So that's good. We're having network issues. Yo, P2020. Oh no. Bloomberg's on right now. Yeah, so Pete's live stream is not working right now, which is great. Amazing. I saw Boston Globe had a stream on. Apparently not. Apparently they pulled everything down about his campaign announcement. Now I can't find it. Does anyone know? Oh, here you go. are you, Pete? And Bernie's having a rally in LA right now. The Public Enemy rally. Very interesting cast of people there. Pete Buttigieg, where does he go next? In the Joe Biden cabinet? Or he's just not going to come out? Yep, this is designed to get people to the threshold. To hurt Bernie's delegate count as much as they can, so that they have a good chance of stealing democracy. Rat-faced Pete, oh no. How dare you be so violent? Now I cannot support universal health care. Thanks a lot. I knew that Bernie Bros were in full swing. Unity. Where? Where's the unity? I don't see any anywhere. There's unity against Bernie. I mean, I guess that's unity. Yeah, sarcasm's always a good medicine. No, I think it's gonna be Biden. If it's not Biden, I'll be totally surprised. I think there's more of a chance he endorses Warren than Bloomberg. So my list would be number 1 Biden, 2 Warren, 3 Bloomberg of who he's going to endorse. But I can't see him endorsing Warren. That'd be so weird and out of character. Why did Tom Steyer not get his formal exit speech? I don't think he'll endorse Bloomberg. I mean, I'd be surprised if he endorsed Bloomberg. I'd be surprised. I don't know. Yeah, Tom Steyer should endorse Bernie already. Like, come on. Not like it'll help much, but hey, man, if Tom Steyer wants to buy Bernie ads, I would take it. Yeah, my money's on Biden. And Pete's not out yet. Come on, Pete. You guys taking a picture of the stage. I don't know why. Like, they're wasting time on their phones right now taking pictures. That's his husband. That audio.
Hello, South Bend. I love you. It's good to be home. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. About a year and a half ago, my husband came home from work and told me, well, he asked me, what do you think about running for president? And I laughed. Not at him, but at life, because life gave me some interesting experiences on my way to find Pete. And after falling in love with
tell how
Pete,
he's gonna meet
Pete got me to believe in
Buttigieg,
myself.
apparently before Pete actually comes out. The audio here is terrible for the crowd. It feels like I'm watching a distorted film with like a bass boosted background of screaming and complete distortion.
And I told Pete to run because I knew there were other kids sitting out there in this country who needed to believe in themselves too.
Yeah, okay. I want to hear Pete be a rat here. I don't want to hear gasping right now. I remember seeing Pete for the first time.
Yes, we did. Together, we did.
He just spoke about how
This
he
campaign
knew
was
multiple
built on an
languages,
idea
he was in
of hope,
Afghanistan,
an idea of inclusion,
he's better than everyone
an
else,
idea of addition
very progressive.
rather than subtraction. About bringing people together, about looking your neighbor in the eye and saying, maybe we don't agree on everything, but let's agree on this. We've got one shot, and that's what we did. We went out there with that one shot, and we gave it everything we had because it is time for every single person in this country to look to the White House and know that that institution stands for them, that they belong in this country.
So how did Pete get in this? CIA? Some type of intelligence institution? Random guy from a random town?
It has been an honor and
random
a
mayor.
privilege to share my husband with the rest of this country. You're so welcome.
I don't know if Tom Steyer seems...
And I am so proud
I don't
that
know.
the same person you saw on the debate stage, the same person you
He
saw
seems pretty
at a
focused on
town
actual
hall
values.
is the same person that comes home to me every night.
The audio's terrible. I can't listen to it. So we have Klobuchar, Buttigieg, Warren, Biden, Bernie, Bloomberg, left, and Tulsi. Tulsi's still on it doing something. I don't know what Tulsi's really doing right now. She's kind of just going around the country and talking about ending all the wars. But she's still in it. I'm not sure if it's really hurting Bernie at this point. Maybe it's helping. Oh, here he comes.
Thank you so much.
We love you!
It's so good to be in South Bend. Sometimes the longest way around really is the shortest way home. Here we are. In the last few years, America has faced enormous challenges, from an economy in transition to a climate on the brink, to a president sowing chaos and discord across the very country he is responsible for uniting. And for many Americans, these challenges have amounted to a call to action. And so, like so many others, I thought deeply about what I could do to make a difference, what I could do to make myself useful. And it was in that spirit, with your help, that a year ago, we launched our campaign for the American presidency. We began this unlikely journey with a staff of 4 in a cramped office right here in South Bend, Indiana, right down Washington Street. No big email lists, no personal fortune. Hardly anybody knew my name, and even fewer could pronounce it. But South Bend showed everybody what to do. First name Mayor, last name Pete, so nobody got confused. But by every conventional wisdom, by every historical measure, we were never supposed to get anywhere at all. And then, as I said, that roller coaster February night a few weeks ago when Iowa shocked the nation, along that way, an improbable hope became an undeniable reality. In a field in which more than 24 Democratic candidates ran for president, senators and governors, billionaires, a former vice president, we achieved a top 4 finish in each of the first 4 states to hold nominating contests, and we made history winning those Iowa caucuses. And all of that, it came about thanks to your support. thanks to the power of this campaign's vision in your hands. It proved that Americans really are hungry for a new kind of politics, rooted in the values that we share. In cities, in suburbs, in rural communities, in crowds that spilled out of venues from Salt Lake City to Raleigh to Arlington, we saw Americans ready to meet a new era of challenge with a new generation of leadership. We found countless Americans ready to support a middle-class millennial mayor from the industrial Midwest, not in spite of that experience, but because of it, eager to get Washington to start working like our best friend community.
My mic is muted. But one interesting point is how we always talk about whoever wins Iowa is going to be the nominee. And this guy won Iowa and is now dropping out after state number 4. Which is pretty interesting, and it's really a signifier of how much of a unique election we're in.
But by how many we can call to our side.
Oh, here we go.
And we sent a message to every kid out there wondering if whatever marks them out as different means they are somehow destined to be less than. To see that someone who once felt that exact same way can become a leading American presidential candidate with his husband at his side. We got into this race for a reason. We got into this race in order to defeat the current president and in order to usher in a new kind of politics. And that meant guiding our campaign by the values we like to call the rules of the road. Respect, belonging, truth, teamwork, boldness, responsibility, substance, discipline, excellence, and joy. And every decision we made was guided by these values. One of those values is truth, and today is a moment of truth. After a year of going everywhere, meeting everyone, defying every expectation, seeking every vote, the truth is that the path has narrowed to a close for our candidacy, if not for our cause. And another of those values is responsibility. And we have a responsibility to consider the effect of remaining in this race any further. Okay. Our goal has always been to help unify Americans to defeat Donald Trump and to win the era for our values. And so we must recognize that at this point in the race, the best way to keep faith with those goals and ideals is to step aside and help bring our party and our country together. So tonight, I am making the difficult decision to suspend my campaign for the presidency. I will no longer seek to be the 2020 Democratic nominee for president, but I will do everything in my power to ensure that we have a new Democratic president come January. We have to, because every time this president brings partisan politics into the management of a deadly serious pandemic, or purges officials who honored their oaths of office by telling the truth, or cloaks in religious language an administration whose actions harm the least among us, the sick and the poor, the outcast and the stranger, we are reminded just how urgent it is that we change who is in the White House. We cannot afford to miss this moment. With every passing day, I am more and more convinced that the only way we will defeat Trump and Trumpism is with a new politics that gathers people together. We need leadership to heal a divided nation, not drive us further apart. We need a broad-based agenda that can truly deliver for the American people, not one that gets lost in ideology. We need an approach strong enough not only to win the White House, but to hold the House, win the Senate, and send Mitch McConnell into retirement. And that broad and inclusive politics, that is the politics that we have attempted to model through this campaign. That, I believe, is the way forward for our eventual nominee. So I urge everyone who supported me to continue in the cause of ensuring that we bring change to the White House and working to win the absolutely critical down-ballot races playing out across the country this year. There is simply too much at stake to retreat to the sidelines at a time like this. And as this contest gives way to the season of weekly elections and delegate math, it is more important than ever that we hold to what this is actually all about. Politics is not about the horse race, not about the debate stage or a precinct count in a spreadsheet. It is about real people's lives. It is about our paychecks, our families, our futures. We can and must put the everyday lives of Americans who have been overlooked for so long back at the center of our politics. And every story that became part of this campaign helped show us why and how we do just that.
This is definitely fake audience noise.
Now, politics is about people, and that is especially true of the people who touch this campaign. To my competitors in a historically diverse field, those who have stepped aside and those still competing, thank you for demonstrating what public service can be. To the people of South Bend, this river city we love so much, thank you for keeping me honest and thank you for keeping me going. And to our Pete for America family, I cannot express how grateful I am to every staffer, every volunteer, every supporter who believed in what we were building. You walked in neighborhoods on hot summer days and
How
drove...
can he talk so much and literally say nothing at all? He said the same thing 10 different ways.
And crunched numbers. You built relationships and you built events. You lit up offices and you filled high school gyms with equipment and then with people and then with cheers in the name of our values, freedom and security and democracy.
First you set the speakers up and then you get to the gym and then you put the chairs up and then people come and then I take the stage and then I talk to the people.
So many of you dug deep to fuel this campaign. Nearly 1 million grassroots supporters who sacrificed financially so that this message of hope and belonging could reach every corner of this country. Thank you for what you gave.
Now about like 20% of his support is from grassroots and the rest are from major donors, wealthy donors, and that doesn't even count super PACs.
Online, in person, with family and with friends and with total strangers, you shared your personal stories and you made the life of this campaign part of your own. What you did and the way you did it was how we could show, not just tell, the kind of campaign we could be and the kind of country we will build. You made me proud every single day. And last, I want to thank my own family. My mom, who not only helped raise me, but put her love of language into work, answering letters for the campaign.
God, if we get through this entire thing and at the end he doesn't endorse anybody, he's going through honestly, it takes a lot of skill to remember speeches this long and boring so quickly. I mean, he's probably been practicing this for a while though.
But who's very much here and part of this effort.
He actually looks somewhat genuinely emotional. I haven't seen that from him ever.
And to the guy who took a chance on a first date with somebody all the way in South Bend, Indiana, and never looked back, rest of my life with you. I know that as this campaign ends, there comes disappointment that we won't continue. But I hope that everyone who has been part of this in any way knows that the campaign that you have built and the community that you have created is only the beginning of the change that we are going to make together.
He's been talking for 20 minutes.
My faith teaches that the world is not divided into good people and bad people, that all of us are capable of good and bad things.
All right, so right now,
Today, more than ever, politics
he went
matters
through
because
his
leaders
entire
can
stump
call out
speech
either
for the
what is best in
entire,
us
you
or
know,
what is
race.
worst
He
in
put it
us.
all
Can
together
draw
into
us
one.
Either to our better or to our worst selves.
And he wants to try to kill us with
Politics
it.
at its worst is ugly, but at its best, politics can lift us up. It is not just policy making, it is moral. It is soulcraft. That is why we were in this. Earlier today, we were in Selma, marching in commemoration of the Civil Rights Movement on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, where I was humbled to walk in the symbolic and the literal shadows of heroes who 55 years ago made America more of a democracy than it had ever been by their blood and by their courage.
Now, Obama was actually
seeing
good
those
at doing this.
moral
Obama
giants
is one of the most
made
skilled
me ask
speakers
what
in
we
American
might achieve
history,
in the years
honestly.
now
If you
ahead,
go back and
how
look at the
we
best
might live
orators,
up to
Obama
the
knew what the hell he
greatest
was doing. He could talk your
moral
pants off.
Traditions of political change in this country. It made me wonder how the 2020s will be remembered when I am an old man. I firmly believe that in these years,
You're already
in
an
our
old
time,
man, dude.
we can and will make American life and politics more like what it could be. Not just more wise and more prosperous, but more equitable and more just and more decent.
At least 5 times, he just went on a rant, like saying adjectives. Beautiful, great, bountiful, fruitful, amazing, glorious.
Proud of our time we could be if we really did act to make it so that no one has to take to the streets in America for a decent wage, because one job is enough in the United States of America, whether you went to college or not.
I haven't heard him talk about minimum wage
We would
once.
be to be the generation that saw the day when your race has no bearing on your health or your wealth or your relationship with law enforcement in the United States.
Oh no, Nathan, I'm not saying he's actually old. I'm saying his brain, his political ideology is that of a 90-year-old.
Earned a little more like soldiers and paid a little more like doctors. What if we were the ones who rallied this nation to see to it that climate would be no barrier to our children's opportunities in life? The chance to do that is in our hands. That is the hope in our hearts. That is the fire in our bellies. That is the future we believe in. A country that really does empower every American to thrive.
He said fire in our bellies.
Where everyone belongs. Thank you for sharing that vision. Thank you for helping us spread that hope. Thank you so much. Let's move on together. Thank you. Thank you.
So is he done? He's not endorsing anybody? He's just, okay, he's not attacking Bernie either. Yet. Or is he done? Okay, come on, dude. There's not even a reward for watching it. You're not going to say anything about the race. Just platitudes for a half hour straight. He sounded like... Okay, well, that was really upsetting. That was very upsetting. I'm really upset that I watched that. Yeah, so Kyle just tweeted a couple anti-Bernie dog whistles in a speech, but no endorsements, nothing on what actually happened yet. I wonder if there's any videos of Bloomberg addressing the coronavirus ad he bought for 8:30. So this
has
is
been a
what
very
Bloomberg posted
worrisome
for
week
that.
for many Americans. The coronavirus is spreading and the economy is taking a hit. Markets have fallen because of uncertainty. At times like this, it's the job of the president to reassure the public that he or she is taking all the necessary steps to protect the health and well-being of every citizen. The public wants to know their leader is trained, informed, and respected. When a problem arises, they want someone in charge who can marshal facts and expertise to confront the problem. They want him or her to prepare for events like these in advance with teams of experts. Communications must be honest and transparent, so people can be confident that professionals are in charge.
Yeah, so this is
Trust-
bad. So he's just gonna go through. He sounds so bad reading this. Look at that face, beautiful. But he sounds like a college student in a speech preparation class reading off a teleprompter for the first time. So what Michael Bloomberg basically did is he bought out a whole ad segment, a whole 3 minutes of time on CBS and NBC primetime Sunday night. He bought out 3 minutes with $1.5 million, and he went on and gave a briefing on how he would tackle the coronavirus and master the economy. And Donald Trump cannot do that. An obvious push right before Super Tuesday, which I don't know what I want to happen. Do I want Bloomberg to do better in California so that Biden goes down? Yes. Do I want Bloomberg to win Oklahoma, which he's probably going to do? No. So there's an interesting balance we have to get here between who we want to perform good amongst the corporatists and who we want to fail because of the viability threshold. So if Bloomberg can knock Biden down below 15% in a couple states, yay. But, there is another... Actually, that's pretty much what I want. Because the other likelihood of Bloomberg gaining actual momentum is very small. Yeah, I heard that about Bernie raising 46 million. Very powerful. Each dollar Bernie Sanders raises is more valuable than $1 million that Bloomberg puts up by himself. It's real people giving Bernie money who are going to fight for him and argue on his behalf. So, I mean, I don't want to be too optimistic for Super Tuesday. I don't want to be too pessimistic for Super Tuesday. Pete dropping out makes the outcomes look not as good as they did, in my opinion, because Elizabeth Warren is going to benefit. Biden will benefit. A couple candidates might be knocked above the threshold for delegates in states that Bernie needs to get a lot out of, which isn't good, but I am cautiously expecting a good day for Bernie. And it sucks because by normal election standards, Bernie Sanders is in a great position. He's going to do great. And, we're in position to be the nominee, to have Bernie Sanders be the Democratic nominee against Donald Trump, like it's written in a screenplay somehow. But we're not in a normal election. Democracy isn't functioning here. So unlike any country in the world, basically, whether it's like France or any parliamentary system or semi-presidential system, unlike those, we have in this primary process for the Democratic Corporation, they could use their headmasters and puppeteers to control the process. So that's why it sucks. Like, we're winning the election, but we have to win by, double the score. It's like going into a sporting event and having to beat the other team by like 10 scores instead of just one. But I guess we're up for the challenge. Yeah, so that was a terrible experience. Thanks for watching it with me. Super Tuesday, I'll be on live again. Please join me for that. Thank you for watching this garbage. And just remember, Pete Buttigieg will bring passion, conveyance, beauty, passion, soul, heart, and the belly of our pits of our stomachs, and the tranquility of our hope beats faster than the heart of our breath. That sounds like a Pete Buttigieg speech. That's the kind of stuff he says. The fake Obama stuff. The tranquility of our souls is like the breath of our wild, or something crazy like that. But goodbye, Pete.